Welcome to the broadcast this evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marilyn Brown, and boy, we've got serious light problems here. I don't know. I say this every week. One of these days, I'm going to have to buy a clamp light or something because I know it isn't good, but I can't paint in the dark either. And so here we are. Welcome. Okay, so tonight we are going to be continuing our lesson series, painting forms. Okay, last time we painted a circle into well, it wasn't dimensional. It was still just as flat as always, but it gave the appearance or illusion of being a sphere. We painted an apple. This time we're going to be painting a rectangle. We're going to turn it into a butterfly. No, we're not going to turn it into a butterfly. Oh my goodness. I okay, you guys. This is one of the things about live. You can't go back and erase it. It's there. It's going to always be there. We are not going to turn this rectangle into a butterfly. We're going to turn it into a birdhouse. Oh my goodness. I need help. A butterfly. I know. We're going to magically pull a rabbit out of this birdhouse or something. I don't know what we're doing. I have no idea. I am going to, first of all, give this whole thing a good spray. Now, normally, I would not be so bold as to do something so wild and crazy. However, what we're going to be doing first is the background on this. And I don't want to have to monkey around with painting around all these leaves and stuff. I just think it seems insane. So don't do this as I do it. Wait until after it is a success. And if this actually does turn into a butterfly, hey, go ahead and try it. It might work. I'm just saying it probably won't. But it's not for lack of trying. I'm going to tell you. It's not. All right, I'm going to mix out here. I'm going to use some cerulean blue here. And I just because I want a light blue in the background. And one of the things that I get asked quite a lot is, how do we paint a sky? And there are quite a number of ways of painting a sky, but this time we're going to show you one where we're going to have some wispy clouds in here by not painting any clouds. All right, we're going to start up here in a place where seriously you can't even see it. There it is. Okay, we're going to just mix this around in here. I want to get the top part of this. I want to have color. Then as I come down, I'm going to angle in toward my birdhouse, having nothing to do with a butterfly. I'm just telling you straight up. Where did that even come from? I have no idea. Okay, back in here, I'm going to put some of this color as though it's coming down from here. I'm not going to worry too much if I touch the birdhouse, but I don't want to paint the birdhouse. Okay, and take that off there. And where it has a lot of color that kind of just sits there in pools, I'm working at an angle, so it's not going to get to pool too much because it just can't. It's going to run maybe, but not pool. But I'm going to move this around here a little bit, coming down, getting lighter as we go by here. And I don't even care if it goes on the leaves. That doesn't bother me at all. I don't want to get into the birdhouse too much if I can keep from it. Now, that's saying if I can keep from it. Now, I will at some points touch that birdhouse wood, but I just don't want to turn that whole thing blue. And I'm just going to kind of just angle in here just like that. Just like that. And you can see where we've left that blue and where we've left it white. Then I'm going to come back in with just a damp paper towel and lift some of that out. Just like that. And I want to get a little bit more color down here at the bottom. I don't want it to be, the most vivid thing on the planet, just right there. And in here, getting lighter as it comes down. Back in here behind some of these leaves. Good, great, fine. Okay, like that. Okay, now that's not the brightest blue you've ever seen. Matter of fact, can you even see that it's blue? It's because this lighting is so bad. Let me go find it. I think you can see it. And watercolor does dry lighter. So this may be way, way light, but we can come back in. Be careful about this because you'll get a bloom that you might not want. Put some more in here. And then dab that just a little to blend it in. There, I don't want that quite so vivid there. A little bit here. Just dabbing that in. And this down here is not as wet as what was up at the top, because that's where I laid down a pretty good spray up there. And it's getting drier as we go as well, so we're about done, I think, with that. All right, so I'm going to say that's good and just leave it. Now, you can come back after everything's said and done and make it more or add something, but when it's time to let it dry, it's time to let it dry. Okay, so, and it didn't turn into a butterfly. I don't know, are you disappointed? just asking for a friend. All right, now I don't know seriously that this is going to dry this evening. I don't know. I would like to say it's going to, because I would like to go on and do something else with this, but we'll just wait and see. But while we're sitting here watching paint dry, I want to talk to you for just a minute about a couple things. One of the things way back at the beginning when we were painting leaves that I did not specifically tell you, but I will specifically tell you now because you need to know. Unless your leaves are large and part of the focal point area, like right here, this is going to be the focal point right here. This birdhouse, the major portion of the birdhouse right here. And there are some leaves that are in that, but even at that, they're very small ones. We're not going to put a bunch of veins in it. Let me show you what I mean. Let me find a piece of paper here that I can draw on. Oh, here, and I've got one that has leaves. Imagine that. Okay, let's move this out of the way over here. Okay. Grab a pencil. Okay, we've got our leaves drawn here. Now we know that these are going to have these side veins coming from it. And oftentimes people will want to put those in there because they know that they're in there. They know they are. And you're right, they are in there. However, unless these are seriously part of the focal area, you don't want to paint them in like that because they come off as looking fake. And the reason I say that is this. Most students, when they're beginners, paint them like this. Because they know they're in there. And let me tell you, that'll look fake every time you do it. Every single time. It'll look fake. Don't do it. It's a mistake. It'll be a mistake every single day. Now, once we get further along in our painting, we will be painting some leaves that will have some of these, but you're painting a vein, yes, but it will have a curve to it, and you're painting an area, not a line. And there will be light and medium and dark involved there, not just sticking in a line. Okay? So when you're painting your leaves, and there are plenty of them in this little thing, when you're painting them, don't put all those veins in there unless you want it to look fake. Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to tell you that if your background is as dark as my background is, you really seriously don't want to paint it at this stage. You don't want to because it'll go and you'll have a fuzzy birdhouse. Now, even if it were a butterfly, you wouldn't want it to be fuzzy. However, considering that this is what we're here to do, let me see. I don't have another one drawn here, or I would do a different one, but I'm going to go ahead and start, even though I'm going to tell you that it's a mistake to do it. So don't you ruin yours. All right. So let yours dry, hit it with a hair dryer, whatever. But don't do that yet. Also, well, we got a minute here. There was something else I wanted to tell you. Also, I would encourage you each to, as you are working on colors and color schemes and figuring out how much water is enough water without being too much water, and all those things, all those skill things that you're going to be painting, try your hand at working on a 2.5 by 3.5 painting. They are just little bitty things the size of a baseball card. 2.5 by 3.5. You could cut a whole sheet into several of these and have plenty to practice on. And it's a perfect way to try colors and try ideas, try lines, thoughts, your skills, your water control issue things, all those things. Try them on this. I would encourage you to do, like one of your apples on here, or a small version of your not butterfly. What is my deal with butterflies? Birdhouse. Your birdhouse. Oh my goodness, we need to stop this class and paint a butterfly. I'm just saying, that's where my brain is. That's what we need to do. I just am sure that that's probably what the deal is. But paint the things that you would paint in class on one of these and save them. Put your name and date on them. And then at some point in the future, we're going to say artist trading card swap. And we, yes, I do. I have butterflies on the brain. We will partner up. People who want to participate will private message me or email me. I usually put my email in the description box. I don't think I did this time because my brain is obviously not working right. But you will trade with another beginner. Okay? Now, some of you are really serious beginners, like you've never painted anything before. Others of you, I know, have painted before, but you're wanting to increase your skills. I will ask you to tell me where in that scheme of things you are so that I could partner you with someone that's on the same skill level as you are. Okay? So just be doing those, and at some point in the future, we will trade those. You can pick out your best one or pick out the one that most represents your progress or your beginnings or whatever it is. You're going to be choosing it, so you can do whatever you want. Okay, I am going to be putting out on my work area some brown. I'm going to be selecting a couple different browns this evening. One, I want to have some burnt umber out here. And I move color from my watercolor pans over here, and I just put it out here in a working area so that I can mix it with the water that I want, so I don't have to keep fussing with it every single time I come back to load my brush. Okay, and when you're mixing color, you want to use clean water for that. So I have encouraged you in times past to have 2 containers for water, one for clean water, one for brush washing. All right? One's for clean water. And believe it or not, this is clean water. It just doesn't look clean because it's in a container that's gotten stained. So I don't really care what the container looks like. That's just what I want. And you are not coming to class tonight, you crazy gnats. It's been raining here, and the gnats have just taken over the world. All right, now the first brown that I want is this burnt umber. I think I may also like to have some burnt sienna out here, and it's raw sienna. Who's that? I'm going to use this one. I think it's burnt sienna. If not, I will have always thought it should have been, and move forward. We'll just not worry about it. How about that? All right. I'm going to start tonight with the burnt sienna. I'm going to paint just a light wash on this. It is a stick, is what it is, that's on the top of this birdhouse right here. Just a nice light wash. And we're not getting fuzzy, so I guess my paper back there is dry enough that I don't have to worry too much. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do this back one as well. And just a reminder, when you're painting your edges, make sure that your paintbrush tip is toward that line rather than over that line. All right. I wouldn't want to paint this line from this direction, because then I've got paint hanging out over my background and it's easier to get it in that background that way. So I want the tip of my brush toward that line that I'm working on right there. All right, while that is still wet, I'm going to pick up some of the burnt umber and I'm going to come back in here with just on this side here, right in there, and I'm just going to blend it into what's there to where it's going to give me a different color stick, because I'm going to use burnt umber on the birdhouse and I don't want them to blend in together. I want them to be separate things. So right here, just there, and I'm just blending it on the piece itself rather than making a whole new color. Just doing right there. Mostly I put it on the edge and then I work that to the inside, just like that. I think I've got a hair there. No, I don't think so. I think there's something on the paper, but we'll manage. It'll be fine. Going to do the same thing to the back here, only on this little piece that sticks up, it is behind. It is like behind this other stick that comes down. So I want it to be really dark right there, just like that. Then I'll come down here and do this one and a little bit on this side. And if you don't have burnt umber and burnt sienna on your palette, just choose a nice medium brown and a darker brown. All right. You just want it to be different from your birdhouse. All right, now we're going to let that dry rather than paint the whole roof in. We will be painting the roof, but I want to let those dry first. Okay, so while we're letting that dry, we're going to choose a different brush. I think I'm going to use, if you have a flat brush, this would be a good place to use it. Because you don't want to carry too much water to this area. If all you have is a round brush, then use it. Just be cautious. Make sure you dab your brush in your water off onto your paper towel before you take it to the birdhouse, because you don't want that to be super soggy. Okay, and I'm going to load water in this brush and I'm going to come up here and down, and you can see that it's wet. But it's not running. And I'm just doing the face of the birdhouse, the front, this part with the bird hole in it, entry, door, whatever. Okay, then I'm going to switch back to my small round brush and I'm going to pick up the burnt umber and I'm going to bring color here, and I'm going to work in an up and down motion here. And I am going to be using a light wash across this, but I'm already working in the shapes of the boards that make the front of this. And it may be at this point too light for you to see it real well, but I think you'll get the gist here. Okay, pick up more color and come up from the bottom. Up and down, up and down, back and forth. And it's okay if you're coloring in the whole birdhouse. It's just you want it to be sketchy, like boards that you're putting in here. It's not even coverage, in other words. Sketchy, sketchy. Okay. And don't worry about whether it's even or not, because you don't want it to be even. Even is harder than later when you go back in to try to put texture in this. You can't get it in there because it's all too even. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay, I'm going to turn mine because I want to work this area and I need to be able to see it. I want to have the same burnt umber that I started with, but I want to on my mixing area here, let me put this down and bring it over here where you can see. I want to bring some of this off over here into another area because I want to pick up something a bit darker. Like, I don't want black, maybe indigo. I could use some indigo in it. Don't get too much indigo or you'll turn blue. So, yeah, like that. There we go, right there. It's a really dark brown. Okay, and I've got my flat brush again, and I'm going to put the water out here. Just like that. And I want to get this edge and this right in here. And we're going to be working in the same streaky boards coming in here. And if you'll notice, this side is going to be considerably darker than this other side. We want it to be because you've got one area that the sun is catching, the other side it is not. Pick up more water if you need to. Streaky, streaky, streaky. Just like that. Okay. You want to wash out your brush. And you're going to pick up your burnt umber again, not the mix, just the burnt umber. And you're going to come back up here at the top, streak down just like that, and about where it would come out on the other side, follow through. Not every line comes all the way down. Bringing this in streaky, streaky, streaky. In here, here. Sometimes you just pick up water on the tip of your brush. That's all you need. Other times you need to pick up quite a bit more. Just make sure you're dabbing it on your paper towel. You don't want to take it to your picture without knowing what you've got. Just like that. All right, now up here underneath the sticks up here and the eaves of the birdhouse, you want to pick up some of that dark from the other side, and you're going to bring it in here really light. It's a dark color, so it's not going to be light, but I'm saying a light touch. I'm going to bring in thin lines, just like that. You don't bring them too far down into your birdhouse. Just like that. I'm going to bring some of this color also underneath here. See how it made that burnt sienna stick pop forward? Just like that. Streaky, streaky, streaky. Pick up some of your dark. Now, I did not wash my brush out. I just picked up some of the dark, the brown, not the dark brown, the just brown, just burnt umber. And it just doesn't have much water in it. I'm just relying on the damp paper. Now, at some point, this is going to get too dry to do that. I just want a damp brush, not a wet brush, to pick up that color. Okay, damp brush, not wet, just damp. Now, once I get that in there, just like I want it, which I'm almost there, I'm close. Still got a few more places here. Want to put in some here. Then you can go back in with some of that dark mix that you made. Okay, I've got the dark mix, and I want one board that comes up here, and I want to see the edge of the whole board. Another one right here. Just like that. Did you say something? Yeah, you'll be all right. Don't do any gymnastics or anything. We're in a motor home. Don't want gymnastics going on, but you know. Okay, let's follow this down here. We'd come down in here. This one would come right in here. It's right here, coming down in here. And that's not wanting to come off the brush, so I need to get it a little bit wetter right there. Just right there. Whoa, get out of there. Okay, now you want to let that set for a little bit. And then we've got one more layer that we put on there, but we've got to let that set. Okay, you're going to come over here, make sure you've got enough of your mix. I'm going to put some more burnt umber out here. And pick up some more of the burnt umber and bring over in here. Okay, and I want to bring down a nice crisp line right here at this edge. It says that's the corner. And I want to do streaks. And now that it's dried, those streaks ought to stay there better. Okay, this time I'm going to be working with that mix, but I'm going to add some more burnt umber into it. Going to come up in here, just moving back and forth, just as we've done before. It's just a little bit warmer brown. Okay, and we're going to let that set. Okay, and while we're letting that sit, and it looks really rough right now, you're thinking, man, this is the ugliest thing I think I've ever painted. It's not. It's not. It's just every painting has its ugly stage, and this is the ugly stage. That's what it is. There's no getting around it. It just is the ugly stage. But don't worry. Don't worry. It will come out of it. I promise you, it will. All right, we're going to use a damp brush, And up here on this first stick we did, we're wanting to lighten that up a little bit. This one on this side is not as much of an issue as the other one was. This one back here, I don't know if I care, but we'll do it anyway. I'm just going to lift some of that color off, just so that not everything on that side is super dark. I mean, it's going to be dark, yes, because that is the dark side, but it's not as dark as what's right here. Okay, now, one might have the thought, well, we're going to be painting all these little sticks on here to make this, I did shingles on this one, didn't I? I did shingles. Well, I don't know. Do you want to do shingles? We could do shingles. Or we could do sticks. Doesn't really matter. Same tendency either way. You might think, well, I could just do all of it my light color and then go back and do my dark colors on top of that. And I'm going to encourage you not to do that, because for the same reason that if you were painting, yeah, they all have one. They all have an ugly stage. If you were painting, let's say, a cluster of grapes, you might be tempted to paint everything purple first and then go back and refine each grape individually. But at some point, you're going to see that. And a discerning eye is going to know that that's how you painted it. And I'm going to tell you, now you might not care right now, you might not. But if you get to the place where at some point you wanted to enter something like this in a state fair, when you get to incredibly good painters are painting next to you, that kind of a mistake would keep you from winning the blue ribbon. I'm going to tell you straight up, it will. I know, because at one point I was a judge in one of the state fairs, and we had two people that were in contention for the blue ribbon in this one. It was a Christmas scene, I think, but one of them had some blue berries it was just a cluster of berries. And you could tell that she had painted the whole cluster and then went back and refined the berries one by one instead of painting them one by one. It was quicker to do it that way. Well, do you want the blue ribbon or not? Because that one mistake cost her the ribbon. She could have had it. And as it turned out, and I don't know at the time, I don't know who it is that I'm judging. I'm just looking at the painting. She would have beat out the woman who always took first place in everything. This one woman swept the ribbons every year. She had the chance to beat her, and that one mistake took it out. So I'm going to encourage you not to paint this all the shingles at once, but to go back and look at them as individuals, because it will matter. All right, now first of all, what you're going to need to do, because I didn't give you the whole shingle line, I just gave you a blank in here. Right here is your line for the top of the roof, and right here's your bottom. And you notice that they're going similar. All right, so one shingle row would be here, one would be here, and the other would be in the middle somewhere. Okay, you don't want them to go like this or like this, because you're going to see that they'll look really seriously crooked. Now, if they're a little crooked, okay, fine, whatever, that's personality. But don't make them horribly crooked. All right? Now, to add to the interest of this, we're going to start off with either a raw sienna or yellow ochre, which is one of your browns that's on the yellowish side. Okay? So whichever you have, whichever you want, if you don't have any of it, take one of your browns and add some yellow into it. You want a yellowish brown. And you are going to paint. Okay, this is going to be, that will be one shingle there. This one will be one here. And they're almost touching, but not quite touching. And sometimes at the end, you'll have a piece of a shingle. Okay, then you're going to pick up some of your burnt umber. With that, you did not wash out your brush. It's still carrying the yellow ochre. And you're going to come back up here. You're going to make sure you don't have anything weird on your brush. You're going to come back up here. Make a line across the top because that's the top ridge of your. You're going to just streak down in here. Now, there is an edge right here that you will see, that edge. So you want it, and you see I'm tapping, tap, tap, tap. Because if you tap, you're going to add color. Every time you lift your brush, it's going to leave color there, and you want that color there. Okay, so we've got color at the top here. Then we're going to bring it up from that edge just a little, right there. And it's going to come off looking like a thatched shingle. Now, you're not going to get it this first time. It's a process. Don't forget that. So you're going to put color here and then bring it down like so. Get your thickness of your shingle here like so, and then bring up, 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 up. And bring them together. Now, there is a little split in there. Don't worry, we're going to heal that here in just a little bit. I'm going to continue on up here. Down, down, down. Thickness here. And don't worry if the thickness leaves. It's not done. It's not all finished till it's finished. And right here, let's pick up a little bit more color here. Okay, then I'm going to pick up my darker brown, that indigo mix. I'm going to come down here at the bottom, at the very base. I'm also going to come down between them here, and I'm rounding off that edge. It's not just a straight line. I'm rounding. These shingles are rounded there at that edge. Like that. Right there. Okay, and I'm going to pick up some of that darker mix again, and I'm going to come underneath this shingle line right here, just tapping in some darkness right there. Wash out my brush, pick up the yellow ochre, and do row 2. This one comes out over here, and it comes to the middle of this one right there. We might want to split this one in 2 here in a little bit. Well, that didn't work well. Oh well, we don't care. It'll be fine. Split that one right there to there. That's what we're wanting. There and there, like so. And we're going to pick up our burnt umber. Gotta get some more burnt umber here. Okay, we're going to bring tap, tap, tap down here, right here. We want that little bit of a shingle there, right there. Mixing the yellow ochre and the burnt umber. I'm going to come here, down from above, over to here, because I want them offset. Didn't offset that one very much, did I? Right in here to here. And that new burnt umber is mighty wet. But we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to keep going. Right there. Set that there, like so. Going to pick up the dark. Going to put down in here. Nope, not there. Bring it up over here. I think that's what we're going to have to do. Otherwise, it's not going to set in the right place. Here's the texture. The rounded corner coming up here, down there, just like that. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to work a few more of these dark lines in here. Right there. Okay, I want to put the dark in here again underneath that line. It also sets the stage for the next row. Picking up the raw sienna, yellow ochre, whichever one you used. I'm going to end it right here again. And here. There. And those got kind of close together. I'm not too worried about that part though. Picking up more of the burnt umber. This is still pretty wet, I'm going to say, but we're going to try. Yeah, that's what I thought. Still very wet. Okay, picking up our mix. I didn't put any down there. Oh well. Down in here. Down in here. That's still very wet. Okay. Remember, and the indigo mix. Okay, we're going to bring that underneath here, up there. That is way wetter than I want it to be. So we're going to let that sit. Bring it up here a little bit, just in between like that. We'll bring a few lines. And once some of these, I think, can kind of, it's like they're not all perfect shingles. Add more in here, here, and here. That. Okay. Gonna bring the last row there. Here's one. And here's one. Going to pick up my burnt umber with the yellow ochre. Get this edge and the shingle edge right here. And kind of blend these out here. And up from the bottom a little bit here. Picking up that dark mix. And I want to come at this edge. And add a little bit of this dark at the top ridge here. Come down here at this edge just a little bit to separate it from that stick just a little bit. Bring it down here just a bit more. Adding just a little bit more personality into these, just here and there. And if you don't want yours to have personality, then don't put it in. It's all fine. It's all fine. You wash your brush. And if you have a flat brush, you're going to use it. If you don't, you're going to use one of your bigger brushes. You want it to be damp, not wet, not carrying water, just damp. And you want to pick up some of that yellow ochre burnt umber mix. And you're going to start underneath here and just bring that down. Do I have any more yellow ochre? Of course not. Why would I want to do that? I don't want to carry water. Just want it to be damp. Just damp, damp, damp. Coming up. Add a little bit more burnt umber into it. And you're going to start down in here and do the same thing on this side. Right there. And it just evens out the color. I think I want some more on this side, just a little bit more. Here and there. Just polishing that off, just filling in any gaps. Okay, let that dry for just a little bit. While you're letting that dry, you can work some of your burnt umber, not the burnt umber indigo, just the burnt umber, into this platform right here. It's just light. That's all in the world it is light burnt umber right there. Put some in on this side. Are you done? No, you're not done. No, you're not. Not by a long shot. You're not. Okay, I'm going to switch out my brushes. And I've got to have more burnt umber. So I'm going to put it out on my palette. Push some out here at the side where I can get my dark mix without getting into it. I'm going to pick up some of the indigo color, mix into that so it's a nice, deep, rich brown. All right. And I think it's time to retire that paper towel. Okay. I still got some spots sitting there wet. All right, I'm going to pick up just the burnt umber, not the mix, just the burnt umber. Come up here, the top part of this platform, over to the corner. Just like that. There's a line right here. That is the corner of that. I've got to have enough water on my brush to make the color move, but not too much. You don't want much. Now, because these two areas here are the same color, it's easy for it to disappear, but it won't be so easy in a little minute here because we're going to do something else here that's going to Excuse me, just a minute. Okay. Going to pick up just a bit. Oh, our damp brush goes across the front, just like that. Just a little bit. I have a dry paper towel. I'm going to set it right there. And then I'm going to pick up just a little bit of my burnt umber, not very much. And I'm going to come across the front of that platform, just like that. So the edge and the top of that platform are now two different colors. Okay, I'm going to do burnt umber on this side. And don't forget to do this little place that it goes around the back. Then I'm going to pick up some of my mix, and my mix seems to have taken over the world back here. And I'm going to bring it around this area. Now, it's not dark. It's not highly saturated. It's a wash of color. So it's watered down paint. It's a light coat of that paint. You can touch this part again with that same brush, just not as much color. You've already run out. I'm going to pick up more color and color right here on the edge of the platform. Before we made that edge lighter, we're making this edge darker. I'm going to pick up my burnt umber one more time, and I'm going to just touch across the front of this and across the platform, and it's going to darken both the platform and the edge just a little bit, but the edge is still going to be lighter. You can see that, right? So then this one is just burnt umber back here, and then it's the mix in the front of this right there, the edge. Like so. Now, I seem to have a light area right here that I really don't want. So I'm going to bring some dark in here, because I don't want that to be, there's no electricity inside for it to glow through the boards there. Don't want that. I want to reinforce the darkness up here around the twig, around the shingles. Making sure it's nice and dark. I want to make sure I have a nice clean line back here at the back. Just like that. And then you're going to take your dark, the mix, the burnt umber and indigo mix, and you're going to color inside this opening for the bird to go in and out. Now there is an area there that is, it shows with the hole, but it's part of the boards that make the birdhouse. You're going to just use burnt umber there. But this is the mix right there. Then you're going to take that out you're going to just pick up burr number, and it comes here, around here, just like that. Some birdhouses have perches, others do not. This one does not. Okay, now, let's see, what time are we sitting at here? All right, let's go ahead and do the board, and then, well, the post that it's sitting on, and then we will do the leaves next time, because that will need to dry anyway. Okay, we're going to put water down here, and I'm not worried about the, let's see, I'm not worried about the leaves that are sitting on top of it, but I don't want to get into the sky. Now you can see my water's not clean anymore. I've been dipping a few too many times with that burr number still in my brush. And you're going to take just your burr number, and you're going to just wash. Now, I'm not going to on purpose paint the leaves, but I'm not going to be real fussy with them either. Like so. And even though this is on the light side, it does get some darkness underneath where the birdhouse is sitting. So that can be darker there. Then you come down here. Keep your edge nice. Just like that. Want a little bit damp brush. I don't want to be carrying water at this point. And don't get all fussy with this. Just get the color in there. You can get fussy later if that's what you want to do. Okay, the dark side is your burnt umber indigo mix, and it's right here. Comes around here. Don't color in your stick if you can keep from it. There's a vine that comes across in front of here that we would like to keep out of this if we could. Okay. All right. That's how far you want to get. If you want this to be highly wood grained, you can make it that way. You want it to be a little bit drier when you do that. Mine's not. But you can bring some shadows down here, underneath here. Just drop them in right there and bring those down. That will force in some texture as well. I don't know that I really want to get too fussy with this. Just right there, like so. I might want to have a knot formulated right in here somewhere. Or a crack in the wood or something, you know. That's up to you. It's up to you. You might want it, you might not. Let's see, on this dark side, I want more of my dark right here. Just like that. I think I'm going to leave well enough alone because I want this to dry. This has got a major amount of water on it. All right, so I'm going to clean out my brush, and if you're interested in working on those ATC cards, I would encourage you to do that so that other beginners can see about where you are. You can see where they are in their work. If you are a very beginning beginner, be sure and let us know that when we ask for the signups. We're not doing it yet. We'll just get you going on your ATCs. But we will trade, you know, like very beginning students with very beginning students. We will trade sort of intermediate, more experienced with more experienced, and we'll see how many people we have sign up. We don't have enough yet to get too much going, but we want to get started. Okay, so do be sure and share this out with everybody. Be sure and put a thumbs up and a like and subscribe and all the things that they always tell you, because we want this to be out there being seen. It's not really being seen yet, but I'm brand new, so it's all right. I don't expect miracles here. So, but you can see, can't you, how quickly this came out of its ugly stage. I mean, I think it's done a marvelous job. I think there's a room for improvement over in here, but you know, you could seriously, you guys, you could fiddle with this for a year and you'd still be finding something that you could do different. You know, there just comes a time when you just got to quit. So anyway, but I think we've got that going pretty well. A good looking birdhouse. I think on this opening here, I would encourage you to go back and look at that after it dries a little bit, because like right in here, mine needs to be darkened some, because it does not look the same wet as it does dry. So just know that in advance. All right, so we will work on painting all of these vines and leaves next week, and we can add some more personality into the post if that's what we think we want to do. You may love it and not want to do anything to it, so you can decide. Okay, so if there are any questions, do be sure and ask them. Asking is not a bad thing. Be sure and message me if you want some information, and I will always answer. I may not answer the same day, but I will always answer. So I think I'm done with doctor's appointments for this week, I hope. And my toenail thing's coming along really good. That's healing well. So don't forget to pray for those who need you, and give those things to God always. All right, so you guys, I'm going to say make today a happy day. Only you can. Your choices matter. You know they do. Love you dearly. We'll see you soon. Bye.